Managing Change, Brandon University, Jeffrey Morse. The scenario. New technology is being introduced to By Every Word Productions to increase productivity and accommodate the changing demographic of artists. Successful implementation requires productively completing current contract work within old systems, while new work will begin to be completed within the new software and processes. Senior management is disquietly concerned and wishes this implementation to go smoothly while keeping costs minimal through this quick transition. What is change? Most businesses experience a 60% fail rate in change. However, change masters have an 80% success rate. One reason is because they act on real insight and real reactions. Change masters establish solid methods and look for solid benefit. Change masters also use better skills to promote better change. Lastly, they choose their investments according to their desired impact. Change can be identified by the forces causing it. There are several types of change, but this video focuses on three: developmental, transitional, and transformational. A developmental change involves an improvement of what already exists. For example, an organization improving a previously established process or procedure, such as an HR policy regarding employee leave time, or a particular department's procedure for filing and sharing expertise on certain projects. These are examples of developmental change. The change does not necessarily have to be large in scale and scope. Often, although not always, little stress or anxiety is created with this type of small-scale change. Transitional change is the second type. Transitional change consists of an implementation to achieve a known desired state that is different from the existing one. Examples of this more intrusive, larger change include organizational mergers and acquisitions, or replacing a process or procedure, or introducing even a new one, such as installing a new technology system. Such changes can shake up an organizational culture, disturb relationships, unsettle jobs, and require retraining and hiring. While it could be argued that this change that we're implementing is transitional, we've decided to categorize it as transformational, as it's a whole new way of doing business. Transformational change involves the emergence of a new, unknown state for the organization. Examples of such changes include a shift in radically different markets that require a different strategy and different skills, a move to incorporate bleeding-edge technologies, or new CEO and top-level team who change the structure and culture of a company. The fact that By Every Word Productions will be now a mobile recording studio changes the way we do business entirely. And though there'll be lots of new software and lots of new procedures that could be categorized as transitional, the fact that the whole central studio idea is going to be pretty much done away with, we're going to call it transformational. There are many typical and business reasons for change, but before we do that, let's look at some of the music-based businesses that failed to recognize the need for change. Although not typically music, but media, Blockbuster, unable to accommodate change to digital media and unable to compete with Redbox, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in 2010. In the year 2000, Blockbuster was approached by Netflix with an offer to purchase for more than $50 million. Blockbuster wasn't interested. The Polaroid Corporation was declared bankrupt in 2001, and its brand and assets were sold off. However, starting in 2008, the brand and intellectual property of the Polaroid Corporation was acquired by the largest shareholder of the Impossible Project, who attempted to transition to flat-screen TVs. This ended in its bankruptcy and final closure. First, Polaroid did not anticipate the impact that digital cameras would have over film. Then, As a result of poor design and even worse customer service, the firm was unable to navigate change marketing flat-screen televisions. Toys R Us is a good example of what the internet can do to a company. Toys R Us may have led to its own defeat when they brokered a 10-year contract to be the exclusive vendor for toys on Amazon in 2000, which you would have thought would have been great. Unfortunately, Amazon began to allow vendors to sell on its site, not keeping the deal. When Toys R Us finally sued and ended the agreement in 2004, it was over. If not for that deal, Toys R Us may have seized the opportunity to develop its own e-commerce presence early on. Compaq. The company was the top seller of PCs and almost invented the laptop single-handedly. Compaq was the first company to legally reverse engineer the IBM BIOS used on the IBM desktop personal computer. This was hinted to in the show Halt and Catch Fire. However, Dell, whose strength lied in innovation in the distribution chain, only built from aftermarket parts and thus was able to supply cheaper and customizable PCs while producing better quality and supplying better customer support. Compaq was acquired by Hewlett-Packard, who still sells under the Compaq name, but the company is gone. Finally, we come to Tower Records. A pioneer in its time, Tower Records was the first to create the concept of the retail music megastore, as well as the first to launch the online retail music outlet, Tower.com, the only online music store available in 1995. However, Tower Records only sold CD, cassette tapes, DVDs, electronic gadgets, video games and accessories, and toys, while ignoring the media format change to digital streaming format and digital download. This soon resulted in bankruptcy, as Spotify, Pandora, and iTunes cornered the market in the new streaming media format. We can see that companies in music production who fail to embrace change and succeed don't exist. Let's continue on and look at some of the reports that we see on the internet and in the magazines right now concerning music and the music business. According to Forbes magazine, the reason for change is pretty simple. Music has shifted from a product-based business, CDs and individual downloads, to a service-based business, which is streaming. Unfortunately, no one has been able to create a model to support that transition adequately. Both Amazon and Apple Music lose money. Pandora and Spotify struggle to stay alive, but there's hope around the corner. What are the reasons for major label decline? According to a senior thesis spring 2012 by Bielis, factors that resulted in decline are many. These factors might include such things as artists feeling cheated by record labels, which resulted in actions such as the 1997 open web release of the Radiohead Rainbows album, effectively bypassing labels. However, as we said, the largest factor was the transition of music from analog or vinyl records to digital, CDs and MP3s, now streaming media and downloads, which is the future. Today, the music industry is still very much in flux. Major record labels are scrambling and creating 360 contracts, which artists do not want. All the while, technology has made the need for a label non-existent. Advances in technology such as the internet, MP3s, and file sharing software have made it possible to bypass the traditional role of record labels, thus creating a closer link between artists and consumers. The future is this technology, the distribution and marketing and engineering channel that record labels just can't compete with. Radiohead in 2007 released their album Rainbow directly to customers, made millions of dollars more than they would have, and took the label right out of the loop. Let's look at the current statistics as of 4/10/2019. Represented here in the pie chart, the red is the CDs and vinyl sales for in the year 2004. We can see it's over 75%. The downloaded media area is the purple area, which is quite a bit smaller in 2004. In 2012, you see the purple area, which is the downloadable media area, has entirely taken over that section. We see the red area, which is the CD and vinyl area, is even less in 2012 than the media area was in 2004. Here we have a chart ranging from 1973 to 2019. We see it starts out with the dark blue, which is the LP, right? And then it goes to the vinyl and the cassette tape, which is the light blue. And then the CD is the orange color, the red-orange color, which late 1990s and stuff we see, early 2000s, the video came out for a little bit. And then we had the downloadable music video, the purple, and other digital music. And then into the green, which is the streaming music. And right on the bottom, you can see down there, there's a gray area that's just starting up called synced music, and that's sound exchange and that's the future right there, synced music and streaming music. So this is the progression here. We can see that, you know, LPs and CDs and such things, they're a thing of the past almost. The only thing that really hinders people from using the streaming service 24/7 is battery life, right? Battery life on their phones, battery life, whatever. And so mostly today, even in cars, you see people using more than not MP3 players and or streaming satellite services for the radio, such things as that. Finally, here's a pie chart of revenues in 2018. Basically, everything that's green is some kind of online streaming, whether it be paid subscription or on demand. It's taking over, 75% plus. And then we can see up there the orange, vinyl and orange. It has reduced down to just a very small slice. Their downloadable albums and downloadable music videos and stuff like that are also way down. The thing is, the future is in streaming. And like that, everything is moving to the cloud. Everything is moving to a digital format. And we have to accommodate that or close the doors. Reasons for change taught in upper education include such things as globalization and technology have made the world smaller and far more interconnected. Or somewhere out there is a competitor, unborn and unknown, that will render your business model obsolete. Things that can result in disaster are unforeseen opportunities missed, industry trends, pressures generating inside or outside the company due to a lack of innovation. Detecting signs of external change is imperative, since failure to do so means missed opportunities and missed identifications of impending threats. Bauer and Erdogan, 2010, in their book Organizational Behavior, Chapter 14, Section 3, list these several reasons for change: workforce demographic changes, technology advancement, again, globalization opportunities, market conditions, areas of poor performance. We list all these just to show that academia agrees, and we can see that all these areas are pertinent in the music production industry. Technology advancement and globalization opportunities, areas of poor performance are major areas that we need to keep track of. That brings us to the introduction of our new vision and mantra statement. We will be a global force for all lovers and creators of music. Some of the things that we can expect to change in the future come by way of the internet. The internet has become commonplace. It not only brings accessibility to knowledge, but also will provide us with a distribution channel. It will provide us cloud-based functionality. It will provide us the ability to transfer large data files easily. Cloud-based recording environments. No longer do we have to pay full-time, but we can hire per diem employees that are accessible through the internet. It opens up scheduling, brings competition with almost no barriers to entry, and it effectually removes the monopoly that major record labels have had for years. If any record label desires to stay in competition, these innovations are a must. Video communication is going to play a big part not only in our transformational change, but also in the way we do business. Video-based communication has advanced to the point that it's no longer necessary for an artist or engineer to come to a central location for recording purposes. All communications can go global. People can live in any country, anywhere typically that has internet, and we can work with them and record them. This change is in part due to the fact that Pro Tools, the industry standard DAW, is now cloud-based. An engineer can easily transfer whole sessions and whole projects from one place to another via cloud without any problems at all about data size. This allows us to bring anyone, anywhere in on a project. Further, Pro Tools offers a free version of the product for those who need to work on a session but don't have the software or the funds. Another technology advancement is the fact that computers, or rather laptops even, have now advanced to the point that 90% of all studio work is performed on them. Using this technology means that we can take a laptop to any place on earth and produce high quality music. On the flip side, so can everybody else. One of the benefits of the technological revolution is the addition of per diem employees. If we have problems or we don't know how to do something, if one of our engineers has questions, they have access to the best engineers, the best studio musicians, who no longer have to come to the studio to add their artistry, but can work on a session from anywhere in the world through the internet. This brings down travel costs and lodging costs. It also produces a market for the best per diem people. The benefit is that the label no longer has to pay hourly wages, but can hire per job per diem employees when necessary. Today's competition is every producer with a computer. Basically, this label is faced with the following choice: innovate or close the doors. Exploiting publishers and writers, as major labels have done in the past, is now hindered with the new copyright laws passed in both the US and the EU. However, smaller labels have a new and fair template and an opportunity to benefit through first mover name recognition, establishing a new era for artists and producers. For this change, we're going to incorporate Carter's 8-step plan. Step 1, show the urgency. Step 2, build a team. Step 3, show the vision. Step 4, communicate. Step 5, empower. Step 6, create some wins. Step 7, don't give up. Step 8, make the change stick. We've already showed all the urgency. We showed all these companies that failed because they didn't embrace change properly. The urgency of embracing change or failing has been apparent. We've also shown how technology is requiring change, and also how academia and other places agree with the plan. So the urgency of change is simple. We either change or we close the door. We've talked a lot about companies that fail to change, but there are many that have successfully navigated change. Weiss, 2012, in his teaching on organizational change, makes a note that the internet, social media, and information technology have resulted in the creation of new industries, business models, professions, product and service. Google, Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, eBay, YouTube, Amazon.com, and even more. Facebook created not only networks of friends, but also networks of clustered self-promotional buyers. Organizations, regardless of size, are becoming more effective, efficient, connected, and globalized. We need to take a second to look at why people might resist change. People often resist change for the simple reason that change disrupts our habits. We're used to doing things a certain way, and when things change, we don't take it well. Personality will play a big part. As artists, change is hard. Some people are more resistant to change than others. Research shows that people who have a positive self-concept are better at coping with change. Probably because those who have a high self-esteem may feel that whatever the change is, they are likely to adjust to it well and be successful in the new system. The music industry is full of the fear of failure. People also resist change when they feel that their performance may be affected under the new system. Nobody wants to be a failure. We have to support one another and encourage one another so that we all know that we will succeed. There's also a personal impact of change. Research also shows that commitment to change is highest when proposed changes affect the work unit with a low impact on how individual jobs are performed. Recording is recording whether you're in the studio or in the field. We want you to know that it's the same. Also, we want you to understand that although per diem employees are available, we're not planning on cutting staff or anything like that. Per diem employees are available to those people that need to have the help. Prevalence of change plays a role. If a company is considering a simple switch to a new computer program, such as introducing Microsoft Access for database management, the change may be as extensive or stressful compared to a switch to the enterprise resource planning ERP system. ERP systems such as SAP or PeopleSoft require a significant time commitment and can fundamentally affect how business is conducted. In our case, we're not switching our DAW software. We're just switching where we do the recording and how we talk to people. And that is a big change, but it's not really switching what we do already. It's switching how we do it. Perceived loss of power is going to be a big struggle. Given the loss of prestige and status in the new structure, some supervisors may resist the proposed changes, even if it is better for the organization to operate. People just like to be known for what they do, especially in music production. We'll just have to learn how to deal with putting the focus on the artist instead of on the producer and engineer. According to Cotter, there are really two types of resistance: passive resistance and active resistance. Passive resistance is maybe not doing as well as you ought to do because you don't like what you're doing or you don't like the change. We highly recommend that you don't do that. The other is active resistance, and Cotter suggests that those that practice active outcries against change should be released from employment. In our case, we'll give you some slack, but not a lot, because this change has to happen for the business to stay afloat. Organizational inertia is the tendency of an employee to maintain the status quo. This resistance is often the result of giving up bureaucratic command and control as the hierarchy structure brings power to the status quo. Artists are sometimes hard to work with as their art is a personal extension. Changing the way one produces art is a big task indeed. It is very important that the artists as well as the engineers see the benefits of the change. No longer will an artist have to take a long journey or sleep in unfamiliar places. Further research shows that when people negatively react to organizational change, they experience negative emotions, use sick time more often, and are more likely to voluntarily leave the company. We want to hold on to everybody, so we're asking you, don't go status quo, but embrace change. Well, By Every Word Productions expects that those former reasons will play a pretty big part of why change will be resisted. We anticipate the following reasons to be probably the major ones. Resistance includes the fact that change, for many, is often uncomfortable and even threatening. Some people just do not do well with change, and I'm one of them. If you're one of them, uncomfortable circumstances are how it's going to be. From now on, instead of the artist coming into the studio, many times the engineer will have to actually go out to the artist. Of course, many times it'll be via the cloud, but not always. The engineer is going to be sleeping in unfamiliar bed. It's going to be flipped around. It's going to be uncomfortable situations sometimes and time consuming. So get ready for some uncomfortable situations. As we hinted to before, the biggest hurdle will probably be the perceived loss of power. Lack of substantiation represents probably the biggest hurdle. Engineers and artists seek popularity as a source of income. Future, however, had diversity in mind. Much of the music placed in film, TV, and even played on the radio is becoming more and more sourced from the plethora of unknown producing artists from their own studio. The big names in music and the big labels are quickly coming to an end. Honorable mentions in the list of sources of resistance might include stuff like lack of trust or confidence, misunderstandings, and resistance for personal reasons may also play a part. By Every Word will be utilizing a 4-step plan to address internal resistance. Define the outcome. Within a 2-year period, a company-wide cultural change will be accomplished. As each employee begins to work from home or on site using a mobile early production computer-based studio, freedom of work will become the natural expectation. This allows for creativity, life outside of work, and it helps with deadlines, making music production less stressful. Communication is key. The path. It is imperative that all senior representatives are well versed, trained, and on board. To ensure administrators and employees know the new path, those not versed on Pro Tools 12 capabilities must be trained in the benefits of cloud-based production. Starting within 2 months, 50% of new tracks and recordings shall be done in the field. To help with logistics, the new position of Production Logistics Manager will be created, who will utilize and schedule through 2 cloud-based services, Monday.com and Band.com. Accounts will be set up for each employee by the BEW Network Administrator. Each logon will be tracked and passwords must be kept secure. Those who are trained first and seen as supporters of change will be team leaders. Team leaders will be responsible for overseeing change, addressing questions and misunderstandings, holding bi-weekly meetings that are mandatory for anyone currently not away on assignment. These meetings will continue for 6 months, but will be scheduled only once a month after that. Suggestions and expectations. It is suggested that one take advantage of all reading provided, attend all meetings and discussion groups, educate oneself and those in proximity to the benefits of the planned change. One may champion the cause by becoming an organizational conflict manager, in which one may empower others to act on the set vision by succeeding first. In this way, Byword addresses resistance through uncomfortableness, personal resistance, or trust issues. In addressing external threats, the first up is major labels. Since this is a pioneering effort which may in effect be seen as a threat to those who have monopolized the music industry in the past, Byword will be retaining special counsel to guard against any attacks from those who are threatened by the shifting of power from the major label to the artists, producers, and creators of music. Non-compete. All employees will be required to sign a non-compete agreement and will further be under strict copyright and company secret contractual obligation. Online music exclusivity. Many of our customers have fallen into the exclusivity trap by such companies as Reverb Nation, who enforce exclusive rights to songs uploaded to their site. While it is true that most creatives don't realize that they are bound by such contractual obligations, it is imperative that all music represented be absent from such exclusive contracting sites. Non-exclusive sites are not viewed as a possible source of resistance. External naysayers. It is important to keep a positive representation on social media or other media sites. Social publicists will be employed to manage and maintain our online representation. The communication plan. Communicating company change and the plan for change is pretty important. Company posters portraying the new slogan, a global force for all lovers and creators of music, will be posted along with others saying such things as BEW, the evolution of the music industry. These will be displayed on posters at every location. Posters will be supplied to employees, vendors, and customers. Business cards will be printed for representatives with these slogans as well. Slogans will be posted throughout our catalogs and pricing tables. Marketing efforts on social media will also begin using these slogans. People and employees will become expectant and hopeful for the new change. To help communicate vision, we'll be sending emails to every employee stating the vision. The change is coming, and the information on who they can forward any questions or concerns will be supplied. All emails will be shown the proper support by all administrators. We've already mentioned bi-weekly meetings by team leaders, but what hasn't been mentioned is that these meetings are also a source of feedback. It's one of the major sources of feedback in our feedback loop. Feedback will also be sought after from all vendors, customers, and employees during times of contact. This is referred to as contact feedback. Now, since we talked about our feedback loop a little bit, we'll also talk about our questionnaires. In addition to the contact feedback that is given in the group setting and with any communication to our customers, indirect feedback in the form of a questionnaire will be formulated and sent out every month, along with a current events, vision, progress, success, and failures newsletter. This newsletter will be emailed, if possible, and mailed to those who request it. Lastly, we're going to present the change method. The challenges in the music production industry dictate that we do things differently, internally, in the way we produce music, and externally, in the way we serve our customers. The modifications we are calling for will not be easy. However, they are necessary. Our technological age decrees that we must embrace change to survive. Change will not be feared, but it will be leveraged by us for its power to capitalize on the new and innovative opportunities it will provide. This will result in our success.
We stand at a precedent. This change has been coming since the advent of the computer in the 80s. Media has outgrown all of its formats. As the format of media changed, the information age erupted. Music today is available easily for download. Those who wish can download from peer-to-peer services, never paying a dime for their favorite music. The current music system is undergoing transition. Money supplied in the past just is not available in our technological present or future. Yet, we as music industry pioneers will innovate and overcome. Just as movie scores break through genre boundaries, music production innovation must shift its focus on making sure creatives are paid for their work. Today, many artists bypass record labels entirely by selling their self-produced music from their own web pages, iTunes, or Amazon. The music industry at large must change globally. The US and the EU have already begun adjusting laws to support this change. This is a service-based world, and no longer can those who create be the last one to get paid. By Every Word Productions is proud to be on the ground floor of a transformational change that will support the heralding voice, change or die. As a change champion, this is my cry as well. Organizational culture becomes creative and innovative when they encourage combinatorial play, according to Shames 2009. Employees need to use their imagination to fit ideas together in new ways. Then take those ideas and see if they'll work in reality. This is promoted, and the feedback loops will provide the feedback necessary. Also, flexibility and work scheduling goes hand in hand with this kind of change. Finally, team collaboration is available on every project through Pro Tools Cloud, like we said. In addition, our organizational culture must be one that puts people first. The songwriter, creator, and producer displace the label to be on the top rung of the ladder. Life outside work is important. Work from home or mobile studios are now services provided to the creator of the music. Expensive tours and mass-produced CDs are not what will equate to song plays today. By Every Word Productions will be a company that puts people first. Money is a tool to use to help others and not a means to an end. This is not a culture for those who want it all, but now a culture for those who want to give it all. John Cotter flatly states that ineffective communication of the change initiative is one of the primary causes of failed organizational transformations. 1996, John Cotter. First, verbal communication should always be chosen over written. Preferably, video conferencing should be used in our case. There is no reason why a video conference should not be chosen with today's internet speeds anyway. When communicating, all communications will have an air of hopefulness. Living the dream or blessing the highly favored will be the worlds we live in. All things are possible to those who believe. The sole purpose of this label is the success of its customers. Soon, people under our employ will take on this cultural communicational change. Finally, I'm calling everybody that works at By Every Word Productions to be a change champion. If a leader is perceived to be honest and authentic, then his message is likely to be heard. That's Goffey and Jones 2006. Warren Bennis and Burnt Ennis state, a leader must be a superb listener, particularly to those advocating new or different images of the emerging reality. Many leaders establish both formal and informal channels of communication to gain access to these new ideas. As a champion for change, I will be among the first to use the mobile studio technology. I will pursue digital music creation when possible to keep costs down. I will provide the same quality whether the customer is well-known or unknown. I will actively point out the benefits of this new way of doing things in every opportunity.